RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Develin.
All right. Oh my God. Is this echo on? Shit. Hello, hello. All right. Now the echo's on. You won't believe what happened. Son of a bitch. Turn that off. I have this new. Oh no. I can hear it. What the fuck? Sorry, everybody. Let me see. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. You guys will let me know. Why is this echoing? My Scarlett crapped out as soon as I tried to start the show earlier, and the interface just, I don't know. It's a brand new interface. It bugged out. I had this as a backup. Let me know if this is echoing, and I don't know. It's a special audio interface, and it's got a lot of bells and whistles. Is it still echoing? Let's see. I mean, I think it's the freaking effect. It's the effect. Yeah, I had to turn it off. There's a lot of buttons here. Let me see. I could show you. Let me turn on my iPhone camera. All right. Is this on? Is this thing on? Come on, iPhone camera. Why isn't it playing? Everything sucks. This is kind of a guys bear with me kind of show. Phone camera. I was trying to resume. Okay, resume. Okay, yes, there you go. That's the old interface that crapped out. This is the new interface. It has a lot of shit going on. This is the button that I was pushing. Let me see if I could do picture in picture. You guys can help me. There's so many things you got to do when you're doing a show. The picture in picture's not working. Oh, I guess it won't work with... Maybe I can split screen it. Oh, there we go. Does it sound okay? Is it echoey? It is a little echoey in my headset. Let me click some more buttons. It's okay? Oh God. I'm sorry, guys. We'll get it going. It has a lot of shit going on. Okay, this is the button. Sound so bad. I just listened to it on the recording. I mean, on the YouTube output. It sounds okay. It does sound echoey and it's a bit boomy. I wonder if I do that, if I lower it a little bit. Boomy. What do you mean by boomy? You mean like it sounds like I'm in a cathedral. Maybe I am in a cathedral. We'll have to figure it out. A bit boomy. I just want to turn off all the effects. Let's go through this again. 1. This is karaoke effect. No. Church. This is church effect, actually. I don't need the effects. There should be like a thing that says no effects. Son of a bitch. Son of a. Show cameras. Everything is fucked up. All right. Hall. This is a hallway. Valley. This is valley. Room. Maybe this is better. Room? No? How about nothing? Original. This is original. I guess this means this is it. This is the way it is. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out. It's too quiet now. Fuck this. Thank you guys for hanging out. This is Tara Develin, unapologetic liberal talk. Sometimes we have an echo. Tonight, it's all new with an echo. Hello. Show cameras. Now it's low. Fucked up. All right. It is. Wait, I'm listening to hall. This is a hallway. Val. This is Tara Develin, unapologetic liberal talk. Sometimes we have an echo. Tonight, that's fine. It's all new. That one. Okay, good. Guys, yeah, original. I'll figure out the other buttons. Well, I don't know, it's supposed to be better. Otherwise, I couldn't do a show at all because I don't know what the hell. This Scarlet was a bug from the beginning. It was a lemon, and it just stopped working. It's less than 2 months old, 3 months maybe. And I keep putting in tickets, and they have a customer service technical support, and they're not really helping me. They didn't respond. I don't know how many emails I can send. All right. And I must not be the only one because they have a whole page devoted to, putting in tickets. And there's a lot of options you can choose. So there must be a lot of people putting in tickets. Okay, listen. Thank you for hanging out. Unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Let me know if there's any other problems with the audio or any other problem in general. We got a lot to talk about. I wanted to do a show tonight because you know what's going on in this country. It's a shit show. Today was it was really an abomination with Trump going to court to everything. He's already been found guilty of sexual assault. He is a convicted rapist. Okay? He's a convicted sexual predator. Now it's a matter of the damages, and he's been dragged back to court because he cannot shut his disgusting lie hole. And I don't know, man. The Republican Party is dead. It's a corpse. That's their standard bearer. The king baby, who basically all that was missing was a bowl of spaghetti in front of SpaghettiOs and flinging it at the walls. This is who we're dealing with. A filthy, disgusting, wannabe dictator, con man with a fake university and a vitamin scam who received fewer votes but isn't man enough to admit that he lost and respect the peaceful transfer of power. The peaceful transfer of power was good enough for George Washington. It's not good enough for Trump, though, because he's Putin's puppet. He is JD on the chat. Trump is taking and behaving himself out of a presidency. Hooray. I hope so. I hope you're right. I hope that people see that and recoil from it. And before I keep going, thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Elise, for your super chat. And let me tell you, Elise, that's your 10th super chat. Thank you so much, Elise, for your ongoing support of Tarabuster. We're in the process, we, meaning me, myself, and I, are in the process of activating the memberships. So we'll have that option available, and where there'll be different emojis. I saw today that the memberships, you can only have 5 emojis originally. So the more members you get, the more emojis you can add. I don't know. They limit your emojis around here. I don't know why. Why would you do that? So I want to make some emojis of the cats. You know, Booty Boo and Ray Ray and Tara Jr. and Francis Jr. And I guess myself will be there somewhere. I'll do one of me maybe. Well, that probably be in the next batch. And yeah, that's it. We'll have some memberships. They'll start at $1.99 a month, which ain't too bad. And they'll go up to $14.99. How's that? There'll be 6 levels. And whatever. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. Okay. And thank you, Charlie, from APS Radio News. Before I keep going, and I don't want to forget the shout out to Charlie. If you can, check out APS Radio News. I don't know what's preventing you from checking it out. What do you mean, if you can? Of course you can. Everyone's welcome. And Charlie has a roster of other, I'm just getting distracted by everything, all my buttons. Charlie has a roster of independent media voices that he hosts at his platform, and I am really honored, thrilled, and humbled to be a member, to be one of the people that he hosts over at APS Radio News. So thank you, Charlie. I'm just going to lower this music. We don't need that. How's that music, actually? Can you hear that music? Did you hear that when that went off? Just checking. Just checking all the buttons. I'm going to have to fix these buttons again. I don't know. I'll have to go through the manual and check and figure out what the hell, why it sounds so echoey to me. As long as it sounds good to you, we're good. But I hear an echo in my own head. It sounds like an effect is on here. So, all right. In case you missed it, and I also want to thank Charlie for supporting the community cats, especially now during the winter. And let me just assure you, Charlie, and if anybody else wants to donate to the community cats or the show, you could, if you want to do it as a one-off, you could. There's a PayPal link in the description, and the supplies for the community cats come straight out of the PayPal account. So your donations are going to help the community cats get through the winter, and pays for their food, their shelters, the hay, straw you got to put in there, keeping them warm. Sometimes I like to throw one of those 18-hour hand warmers in their shelters, so they feel the warmth maybe a little bit on their little bodies as they're out there in the cold. All right, listen. Let's get sorry for all the blabber and the technical support. Thank you for everybody for helping me, get the audio right. So that's what I'm saying. This is a community show here. This is it's a team effort, and it has to be that way because we stick together, we win. We do have a lot to talk about, and I appreciate that. So let's get to it. First of all, Trump is a disgusting. Let's start there. He's a baby. And I'm interested to see JD on the chat, who is from England. Lucky bastard who lives in England. I guess I'm from Ireland and England. It counts. My grandfather was in the English army, so why did they fucking come over here? God. It was my grandmother. She wanted to come over here. She talked my grandfather into it, apparently. I don't know. Man. I wish if there is another side and I get to talk to them again, I'm gonna have a very serious conversation. All right. Thank you, Ed, for your super chat. Ed says, for the cold kitties. Thank you, Ed. And the cold kitties, thank you too. I worry about them. I do. But they're survivors, but they do need help. They need the shelters. They do feel the cold. So, all right. So Trump was in court today. He's a loser on all counts. He's always been a loser his entire life. If he didn't have his daddy's trust fund that he bankrupted 5 times, he would he'd probably be a used car salesman. No offense to used car salesmen, but he would be one of the slimy, stereotypical used car salesmen. And What do you mean you wish I was on a different show? What show? Jonathan on the chat. I wish Tara was on a different show. What show? You mean a show that doesn't have an echo? Or a show that... What's this? Hello, hello? Hello, hello? Side chain. What is a side chain? Wet, dry? What? Hello, hello? All right. I don't know. I got to stop pushing buttons here. All right. And he was admonished numerous times, the filthy con man, for behaving like a child. I mean, and what I kept thinking when all day the reports were coming in about Trump and his antics, and all I kept thinking was, how much longer are we going to take it? How much longer do we put up with this? I mean, clearly the Republican Party is a lost cause, but as I was watching the corporate media all day, one thing that was driving me up a wall, and I'm sure it drives you up the wall too, was when the corporate media mouthpieces were calling the con man President Trump. Like right here. Listen.
Just heard the president departed the courthouse. Your sense of his departure?
The president?
We just heard the president departed the courthouse. Your sense of his departure?
He's not the president. What are you talking about?
We just heard the president departed the courthouse. Your sense of his departure?
That gets me insane. What are you talking about? He's not the president. He's, if anything, you want to call him, you call him former president, which also irritates me. He's Mr. Trump, if you want to be nice. If you want to be accurate, he's Traitor Trump. But he's not President Trump. The president didn't depart the courthouse because the president's doing his effing job right now. The president is in the White House, I would imagine. He's not in a New York City courtroom after being convicted of being a sexual predator. This is so sickening. They do this all the time. It was like that interview with Kristen Welker that he did. That was done. I mean, the con man. As if we needed that. We needed another, I don't know, walk into the madness, into the very, typical mind. And I'm saying mind. I'm being very generous. But we didn't need that interview. What is he going to say? The election is stolen. It's a witch hunt. Do all the hits, the favorites. Do all the classics. Witch hunt. It's a witch hunt. And you're going too far because it don't matter anyway. I mean, do all the hits. Lock her up. Witch hunt. Like nobody's ever seen. Right? Powerful. President G is right out of Central Casting. I like, the Dance of the Dictators. That's another one of the hits. Dictators, fellatio for a dictator? I don't know, something like that. Just trying to come up, just spitballing names, no bad ideas in the brainstorm. But that's why I grabbed this clip.
We just heard the president departed the courthouse.
The president did not depart the courthouse. And I did tweet this person. Excuse me, he's not the president. He's not the president. He's a con man. He's a traitor. You don't give him an honorific. They don't call President Barack Obama the president. If Barack Obama was in court, would they call him the president? Or even if he's anywhere, when they report on the movement of Barack Obama. Barack Obama gave a speech. over here, Barack Obama traveled and spoke to some kids, or they call him the former president. I've never heard any pundit call Barack Obama the president. The president left the courthouse. The president left the meeting or the event where he was encouraging kids to stay in school. No, because it's very confusing. Yes, call him an unindicted co-conspirator, or what was that? What do they call him? Individual one. Call him Individual One. But don't call him.
We just heard the president departed the courthouse.
We just heard the president departed the courthouse. It's disgusting. What a disgusting display. And this is why, I do the show we're here, that the independent liberal media is important, because this is supposed to be the liberal media, guys. And honestly, it's sickening to constantly. I guess we could play that game though. I'm talking about Trump, obviously, but there are. I don't know. I'm kind of what we're doing here is really unpacking the news of the day and discussing it with an unapologetically liberal point of view. And the corporate media has no excuse, though. I don't have I don't have teams of producers besides Tara Jr., the producer, but he doesn't really do any field producing. He only produces right here in the house. And that's it. Yeah, I'm here commenting and we're discussing what's going on. But the corporate media has no excuse. They have the budget. They have journalists, people that went to journalism school are working there. I would imagine some of them actually want to do actual journalism. They don't simply want to report on polls or the movements of a con man. But if we turned on the corporate media right now, I bet you right now, I wonder how long it would take until the name, the word, or anything about Trump came up. Because when the history of this time is written, I don't know. I just think, how much longer? How sick is this? It really is incredibly sick as a society, because Trump is a disgusting con man. He's a sociopath. He's a malignant narcissist. He is what he is. He is a scumbag. A fish has got to swim, a bird has got to fly, and Trump is going to be a scumbag. So he can't help it, but they can help it. The corporate media can help it. They can do many other stories, like how right now Republicans, they're doing it again. They're trying to come after Social Security again. They're trying to form a commission to another cat food commission, talking about chained CPI and things like that, which is another word or another terminology for privatization, for cutting Social Security. And we don't hear anything about that on the corporate media, do we? And I was watching Morning Joe today, and they were talking about working from home, how, of course, because they hate Morning Joe. The people at Morning Joe are always talking about how, they don't like remote workers and what bullshit that people need to go back in the office or whatever. And see, people like working from home because if you're able to, if you have a job that lets you work from home, or you're capable of working from home, they like working from home because people finally have some of that work-life balance that they heard so much about for years, and that was really only reserved for those at the top. And they've done numerous studies talking about how that work from home productivity, is the same as going in the office. But there was, I guess, one study that made it into a newspaper, and they had to point it out, talking about how work from home sucks. And you know what it was? It was how working from home, workers are less productive. And what they in this study, it said that the workers were 10% less productive than those who went into the office. And I of course went right online and I looked up that study or whatever they were pointing to. But also there are other studies. That's just one study. But there are other studies that say the exact opposite, that working from home makes people more productive. But the bottom line is that, like, what is the meaning of work? You see, are the American people just not working hard enough? Because for the past 40 years, we know that the productivity of the American worker has increased when as the gap between rich and poor gets wider, the gap between the lowest paid worker and the highest and the CEO gets wider, where it used to be 50 times the lowest paid worker. Now it's over 400 times the lowest paid worker. And how, if productivity kept up with it, if the minimum wage kept up with productivity, the minimum wage would be over $30 an hour. So I've been hearing that, and we've been talking about that and bringing the receipts about studies and math that we have. But I've been hearing that for years. But I've never heard, I never heard of, I don't even think I've heard a corporate media pundit bring that up once. All they talk about is how, the American worker is shit. We're just not productive enough. Even though CEO, what is it? The unemployment rate is 3%, 3 point something percent, something ridiculously low, which is full employment, by the way. And even though wages don't keep up with productivity, so where's the wages? So workers, if your productivity's up the wazoo and you're not getting pay, and your pay scale hasn't kept up. Oh, but you're 10% less productive. What does that mean? Do you think we could live? Maybe people were 10% overproductive. And this is just balancing the scales. How much more do you want, right? You want blood? They want it all. That's the question. The answer is they want it all. In fact, in the early labor movement, this was on one of who is it? The labor history. Who did the labor? Now his name is escaping me. The labor history hits. History into who? The Rick Smith. Yeah, Rick Smith. He does labor history, which is great. I love those hits on Progressive Voices. And one of the labor histories talked about how the chants of the workers as they were fighting for the middle class, whatever, for the 8-hour workday, for the benefits that American workers simply take for granted now. They think that we have an 8-hour workday and a weekend and decent working conditions, then because some robber baron felt like trickling it on us, when it's simply not true. But the chant was, we want to live, not simply exist, or something like that. or we want to live, not just exist. And doesn't that make sense? What's the meaning of life? I guess it's, if a CEO, if you can't do 10% more productivity, what good are you? Maybe you were overdoing it. Here in the United States of serfs and lords, the American, we don't have vacations. We don't have paid leave. There's no family leave. This great culture of life. So there's no, there's not, I mean, like, show me, don't tell me, Republicans. You love life. You're a culture. You want to foment a culture of life. Well, then prove it. Show me. Show me how much you love life. But they hate life. And I'm sick of millionaires telling working people just how much they suck. You're just not working enough. You're 10% less productive at home. And then, of course, Joe Scarborough's like, who could have saw that coming? And they started, of course, kicking down on, remote work. And I told you, it just doesn't work. People, and what does that, when he says, oh, who could have seen that coming? Wait, what did I just drop? Something just fell. What he's saying is he really doesn't like workers. That it's the old tropes, right? That you gotta whip people, you gotta beat them into submission. Otherwise, that's why you have to be on the verge of starvation. You have to be on the verge of just hanging by the balls of your ass, because there's you're one paycheck away from catastrophe. And when he says, oh, when Mika Brzezinski says, oh, productivity, according to this fucking paper over here, American workers who are working remotely are 10% less productive. And then Joe Scarborough says, who could have seen that coming? What are they saying? They're saying they have no respect for the American worker. That when if you just take your eye, if the CEOs take their eyes off the American worker for 1 second, they're gonna take advantage. They're not gonna work. They're gonna put their feet up, and they're gonna be 10% less productive. Well, I don't know about you, but corporate friggin' profits are through the roof. So tell me again about 10% less productive. I don't see the profits, the CEO profits, getting 10% less. Do you? I don't see, anything kind of working out in the favor of the working person. So Jonathan says, Tara, what do you like about working from home? I like working from home because it's if you can work from home, some jobs you just can't work from home. But if you have a job that you can work from home, it opens up an entire life. You get to do things. You get to make appointments, go to doctors, go to the gym. You get to run an errand. Take your cat to the vet if you need to. Go feed the community cats in the morning. You get back. I would commute 2 hours sometimes each way, depending, sometimes you come home and you're exhausted. That's how many hours out of your life. And sometimes I would say to myself, how much time am I having to spend, on commuting? Just commuting. And F that shit, right? But if you can work from home. So, and Elise on the chat says, the five wealthiest people together have added 14 million to their pile of dough every hour since 2020. according to Robert Reich, who runs the numbers and is equally appalled at this. So give me a fucking break. You see what I'm saying? Oh, who could have seen that coming? They're 10% less productive. An insult to the American worker. And we know that Republicans hate the American worker, and I've brought many receipts on that. Like these Republicans, they say that a lot of people in this country just don't want to work. They don't like work. And we played the video of Lauren Boebert going off about remote work, how they're getting away with something, that they're taking advantage, when they know, no, they're not taking advantage. They're equally productive. We track their work time. That we have corporate computers. We know when they log in, when they log out. We know when things are moving. We know, we see their output. So, I don't know. I didn't expect to go off on that, but it just pissed me off. Really, what's the effing meaning of life? It's enough. It's enough beaten down on working people. You can't tell me that we have this widest income gap and all these billionaire bastards and the rich getting richer and the working class becoming the more malleable working poor. You can't tell me that's because the American people don't work. The fact is, no one works harder than the poor. That's the truth. In this country, we have this bullshit, like the deserving poor and the undeserving poor. They always qualify things if you need to go on public assistance. Through no fault of their own, they always qualify it. No fault of their own, because if it was your fault, you should go fuck yourself, right? You don't have the luxury of being human in this country through no fault of their own. See, here, we're so divided. Because it's just the stupidity that keeps us divided. People are dumb. They would rather, as I think, who said this? That Americans would rather consider themselves temporarily embarrassed millionaires than socialists. And the fact is, socialism. Oh, socialism. The Nazis were socialism, which is not true, of course, but that's all they. When I bring that up, that's what I hear the Republicans, because they're very infantile. That's really another theme in general, or just it's basically one of the laws of the universe that Republicans are immature, that they lack the fundamental maturity to function in a free democratic society, because they are, they're infants. And, okay, in order to, let's just go there now, since I brought it up. I really didn't expect to talk about the productivity thing. It just came to my mind, and it pissed me off this morning, because I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of these elites, the millionaires in the ivory tower, kicking down on working people. Like, we're not doing enough. I really wish I was on that damn set when they said something like that. And then no one's pushing them back. Oh, who could have saw that coming? Really? Because you have that much disrespect for working people that the minute the minute your back is turned, the minute daddy's back is turned, they're just going to take 10% less productivity. They're going to steal their own productivity. Well, if I know I'm repeating myself now, but if productivity's through the roof and corporate profits are through the roof and CEO pay is through the roof, then Who's getting robbed? It sounds more like the American worker has been getting robbed for my entire life on this planet. And maybe if they're 10% less productive, more power to them. I mean, give me the bottom line. Does this somehow, what does this translate to? Are you seeing it? Is the CEO pay down 10%? They just can't reap enough corporate profits? Sickening. But it's time that the American worker figure this out and come together and stop, standing for this shit, standing for this bullshit. Stand together. And I told you the story before, probably, when this is years ago, but there was a subway strike here in New York. And I remember, and of course, the New York Post is a Rupert Murdoch rag, and all the corporations and the big, the mouthpieces, the corporate mouthpieces in the media were so anti-union, and everything that they would put on the air, like they would interview people, and it was no both sides. You realize they never get the both sides when they have an agenda, and it was the man on the street interviews were all people like, you better get back to work, and wait till I can't remember the guy's name who was the head of the union, and they're like, Joe Blow, head of the union, I got something for you. Wait, you get your people back to work, because everybody was so inconvenienced. Well, I remember at the time it was in winter, it was a little cold, and there's no subway. And I was walking over that 59th Street bridge. And I said, nobody put a microphone in front of my face, because if they did, I would have said, I'll walk every fucking day if I have to, for working people to get a goddamn fair shake in this country. And that's the problem with the way they divide us. That's the other thing I remember during this time was these man on the street interviews were I remember this one lady, well, this was not just one lady, it was a bunch of people. It was kind of a theme. They're like, because the union was fighting for, I think, I don't remember, like 30 days vacation time and a significant raise and medical and all this other shit. Because this fucking stupid country, you get your medical care from your job because it's a complete accident that happened that way. I don't know. I don't like that angle on myself. But it is what it is. Why am I all crooked here? It's like I'm not looking. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? And so here, yeah. So the people that they were interviewing, I remember they were like, I don't get 30 days vacation. So what, that was their thing. It was like pitting people against each other. And I remember screaming at my television when I would see these reports. I'd be like, that's not the argument. You shouldn't be angry at the union trying to get their workers a fair shake. You should be angry, if you don't have 30 days vacation or whatever they're fighting for, then you fight for it too. And if the workers get their the contracts that they want, hey, maybe it's this way, then all the better you are, all the more you're positioned to ask or demand the same working conditions. So you shouldn't be like, I don't get that vacation time, so why should you? My life sucks. I'm treated like nothing but a host from which to suck profit and discard. Why should you be treated with any decency and dignity? That's the way they've done. That's what they've done to this country. So it's about time, people recognize the grift and understand, we stick together, we win, has to be the working class rallying cry. Because otherwise, we're done for. And with this resurgence in labor, in the labor movement, that gives me some hope, of course, because people are kind of finally understanding, hopefully, that this bullshit, and pay attention to the assaults on the working class from wherever they come. Like this morning, this subtle throwaway, comment. And am I still on the air here? Yeah. That the 2 minutes that they dedicated to you know bashing workers who are taking advantage, who are 10% less productive. Please. I mean, let me look this up actually while I'm saying this. Let me see. Worker productivity is up in USA. Yes, worker productivity in the United States is on the rise. The rise. Shit, what the fuck? Can you hear me? Am I hopping in and out? It's coming out of my headphones. Oh, I have to do something about my audio interfaces. So, let's see. Okay. And 2023. Okay. Worker productivity in the United States has been on the rise. In the third quarter of 2023, non-farm productivity, which measures hourly output of workers, increased at a 4.7% annualized rate, the fastest pace in 3 years. The growth in productivity is a positive indicator for the U.S. economies, as gains in worker productivity are essential for raising a nation's standard of living. Over the past several decades, U.S. labor productivity has increased, driven by technological innovations, work experience, and investments in worker efficiency and equipment. The increase in worker productivity is attributed to factors such as technological innovation and blah, 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 other economic drivers. So for decades, that's what we knew this anyway, worker productivity, if it's going up nearly 5% every year, it doesn't seem like your boss, the CEOs are feeling a pinch, Let's see. Let's see. How do I put this? Income disparity in the USA is worse. Well, we know this than it was in ancient Rome. It was in ancient Rome. Worker. Yep. Yes, the claim that income inequality in the United States is worse than in ancient Rome is supported by historical and economic analysis. Can you believe that? According to a study by Walter Scheidel and Stephen Friesen, the Gini coefficient, a measure of income inequality, was between 0.42 and 0.44 for the Roman Empire, while the Gini coefficient for the U.S. is 0.45, indicating greater income inequality in the modern United States than in ancient Rome. Additionally, Rome's top 1% controlled 16% of the wealth, compared to modern America, where the top 1% control 40% of the wealth. Isn't this a disgusting abomination? This evidence suggests that income inequality was less, during the Roman Empire than it is in today's United States. Furthermore, the concentration of wealth in ancient Rome and its impact on land ownership and economic inequality. Oh, yeah, just kind of repeating this. it's just disgusting. Have you heard that on Morning Joe? Have they lamented the income inequality and upward immobility, um, courtesy of Ronald Reagan? The kiss up, kick down, trickle down bullshit voodoo that we have been suffering under for the past 40 years, that took the American great prosperity right straight to the next near Republican Great Depression in 100 years, which was the Republican Great Recession. It always happens like that. But in the meantime, the rich get richer and they party off our backs while their media mouthpieces go out and complain that we're 10% less productive. That they're not squeezing enough out of us. We're leaving 10% behind for ourselves. We're keeping that 10%. And it should be theirs. They need it all. They want to take you like a washcloth and wring you out. So forget the productivity and that's been going up every year. They're saying 4% every year. Come on. And the record profits, well, don't pay any attention to that. And the unemployment rate being down to historic lows. Don't pay any attention. It's the workers' 10%. It's all coming to an end. If they take that 10% back, that might give them too much freedom. And they might get uppity and expect more things, like to have a life instead of simply existing. That they might ask for a bigger piece of the profits that their labor makes possible. And then what are the oligarchs going to do? They didn't work for 30 years, 40 years, turning America from the most upwardly mobile to the least upwardly mobile, and all just to give it back. They want us to feel bad. They want us to beating us down. 10%. Give me that fucking 10% back. Well, how about you give us all, a 10% pay hike? Then more. I mean, give us living wages. How about we do what like Bernie Sanders suggests, and $15 minimum wage, that seems to be the normal now. People understand that's normal, unless you're in a red state where they treat you like shit. And I guess the people in those red states enjoy being treated like shit, so they keep voting for these right wingers who simply I don't know. They must enjoy the angertainment. That's it. Because they're certainly not getting anything else from them. They're not getting decency. They're not getting the policy that will help their communities, as evidenced by the fact that when Democrats pass bills, like infrastructure bills that fund projects that the senators and representatives of those communities vote against, these senators and representatives are more than happy to attend the ribbon cutting ceremonies for the projects that they voted against. Okay? So they want all of the benefits that we work so hard to fight for a decent life or in this blip of time. And but they just don't want they want the freedom to be to bash gays. That's really what it's about. They want the freedom to hate and to kick down on immigrants or kick down on trans people. That's all it's about. That's what they get in return. They get the angertainment. They get the they get the satisfaction, whatever the sick satisfaction might be, of watching Greg Abbott, I don't know, let a mother and two children drown in the Rio Grande River, right? And then go on their cesspool propaganda channels and say, well, we would shoot these people dead, except the Biden administration would prosecute us for murder. And he says that as if that's so woke, that's so outrageous for the Biden administration to prosecute somebody for murder. He's like, oh, the Biden administration would prosecute us for murder if we shot migrants crossing the Rio Grande and murdered them. Yeah, because you know why they would do that? Because that's called murder. And it's kind of universally reviled. It's kind of known that, murder's not good. We don't like murder. It doesn't make you tough, Greg Abbott. It makes you a whiny little bitch. No offense to bitches. I don't like whiny bitches, but, bitches I can get down with. But, and speaking of whiny little bitches, Trump took us all that time. See, it is a Tarabuster. Trump goes on a tirade. What else is new? What else is new? How much longer? I mean, I was going to ask JD, what are they saying in England about this dirtbag? How is the media in England reporting how this filthy embarrassment behaves in the courtroom? Which is really it's another insult to everyone who ever died for this country. Everyone who ever put their last measure of devotion, they left it on the battlefield. I know Trump doesn't understand that, what's in it for them. But for everyone who ever died for this country, Trump is wiping his ass with their sacrifices. Because guess what? They died for the government of this country, the system of government that includes the nation of laws, that includes the checks and balances, and includes the fact that no one supposedly is above the law. Although, as we've seen with Trump's antics, I guess the law is incredibly tolerant of some of us. If we played the president and we're the so-called president despite receiving fewer votes. Yeah, he wanted to get tossed, as Kathy says on the chat. That's why he behaves that way. Well, in case you missed it, let's just go through the play-by-play. So, according to the inner city press, who was in the courtroom. Let me see. Where is it? I'll show you what I'm looking at. Let me see. Inner City Press. Wait a minute. Chrome. Here we go. Chrome. I gotta fix this damn audio interface. Okay. So, courtroom clashes. In the second trial with E. Jean Carroll, judge says Trump can forfeit presence by noise, admonishes Alina Habba, who is a joke. I mean, you get what you pay for. She's a joke. Oops, wrong button. She doesn't know how to behave. She doesn't know how to act in a courtroom. Hey, what are you doing here? Why is it doing that? Beep, 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 beep. Hold on. Why did it do that? change the screen. Thank you for bearing with me. Are you able to hear me? I'm not talking into the mic. All right. Inner City Press. So, wait. Hold on. Sorry. Let me see. Where is it? I had a list when I came in, and I will have a list when I leave. I need a producer. Okay, so Donald effing Trump, not the president, at the defamation trial, the judge threatened to expel the stupid, scummy, parasite, national security threat after he ignored warnings to stay quiet. So while E. Jean Carroll was testifying, going through, her life after being attacked by someone who's supposed to be the most powerful man in the world, can you imagine? Yeah, that's who they are. That's Republicans for you. They kiss up and kick down. They only attack those who can't fight back, or who won't, or who don't have the resources to fight back. That's what he did his whole life. He stole from people who didn't have the resources to sue his ass. He would make contracts with people, and then when they did jobs for him, he'd just give him a quarter of what the contract says, and he'll just say, "Oh, I didn't like your work." He's a grifter, because they knew that small business people, they don't have the means to defend, to go and file lawsuits. I should say they don't have the means to go file suits and take him to court. They just got to eat the loss, live and learn. And people lived and learned not to lend money to Trump because he's a scumbag. That's another, and they learned not to work for Trump because when he gets out scot-free, when he leaves, he's like the bag man. He takes off, and everyone else is holding the bag. Everyone else is just standing there with their dicks in their hands. Like, what the hell was that? Oh, and you see syphilis is trending because Trump has contact syphilis, or so it's called, on his hands. See that? Yeah, I looked this up. Syphilis. Let me see. Syphilis on hands. I know I spelled that wrong. Hands. It is a thing. It's a rash. Secondary syphilis may appear on as rough red or reddish brown spots on the palms of the hands and the bottoms of the feet. What does that look like? Anybody? Yeah, people were wondering about, old syphilis hand. Well, we should just call him old syphilis, like some of the presidents. I mean, he was the president despite receiving fewer votes. Like some were old, old reliable, old Ironside. He's old syphilis. He's just syphilis. Old syphilis hands. That's something up with that. He's got one there, one on the tip of his finger, one on the palm, one on the thumb. That's syphilis. He's got it. And we spotted it. Yeah. It looks like, and this person, Scary Larry, writes, in yet another parallel with Hitler, it looks like Trump has syphilis. Left untreated, it could become tertiary syphilis, leading to dementia and problems controlling muscle movements. Oh, pretty please. Can I see this? Which is blatantly obvious. I mean, legally and peacefully. It's blatantly obvious when you see him teetering over and spewing his incoherent word salad. Yeah, now let me play the game, of course. What if Joe Biden had marks on his hands like that? Oh, it would be the top news on Fox, on fake news, right? Dirtbag. Look at his dirty, dirty face. Dirty, dirty, syphilis hands. Of course he's got syphilis. I just hope he wore. I mean, did he wear a condom with Stormy? Probably. But yeah, I can imagine. You think he's a responsible partner who hasn't engaged in all kinds of, you know, as of what I'm saying is like, you don't think he's paid for sex? Of course he has. You don't know who he's dealing with. It's not out of the ordinary, right? To imagine him getting some, sex worker who's not up on her shots or something. And he wouldn't care. What does he care? He's probably had syphilis his whole life, like Al Capone. He loves Al Capone. He was praising Al Capone as if nobody knew who Al Capone was. He's like, Al Capone. I love how that's what Trump does. He thinks that we're all, because he's a sociopath, you see. He's a malignant narcissist. And he thinks that, because he's the center of the universe, that we are all like, if he knows something, if he learned something, because he's an ignorant cuss, then we must all have been ignorant about it. Like Lincoln, not everybody knows. Did you know that Lincoln was a Republican? A lot of people don't know that. People don't know that. As if he's imparting some wisdom on us. A lot of people don't know. So let's see. Who is this?
You're getting in the documents.
This is the comment. Is this the guy? The guy? There's Eugene Carroll coming out of court.
Ms. Carroll, would you like to comment on today's proceedings? Carroll, how are you feeling today?
American hero. If I was there, that's what I would say. Hero! You get him. You get him, girl.
Day 2 here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse of the second trial, Carroll versus Trump. Today, things got pretty spicy. At times between the judge and Trump, in which Judge Kaplan told Donald Trump to stop speaking so loudly to Haba that the jury could hear it, saying things like, "This is a witch hunt." But mostly it was Judge Kaplan repeatedly
what a bore.
striking down Haba, saying, no, you're getting in the documents in wrong. No, we're not going to put up with this.
She doesn't know what she's
Things
doing.
seemed to be reaching to a crescendo, and then at 4:30 they ended. Now, people will read it in all different ways. Is the judge letting it all hang out? How does it compare to Engoron? There was a motion because one of Carroll's lawyers, Sean Crowley, was a law clerk of Judge Kaplan, according to Mr. Medeo. Motion for mistrial denied. Everything is being denied, but we're going to continue on the case. InnerCityPress.com. You can check it out.
So, oh God. Apparently he as this person, Inner City Press reported, he was saying things loudly so the jury could hear him saying, "She's lying. She's lying," when she's on the stand. It's already been decided. It's been adjudicated by a jury of his peers, by American citizens, just like other trials, like the 91 indictments, were all the result not of Joe Biden, not of Joe Biden's Justice Department, but of our fellow Americans seeing the evidence from both sides and leveling these indictments on him. It's not, Joe Biden didn't do that. Our fellow Americans did that. They know he's a dirtbag. Yes, not peers. Exactly, Jim on the chat. Not peers, his betters. That's right. So, let me see. Vlog. Is this the vlog? Oh, it's a book. It's a book. All right. He's such a victim. And the other thing I have to say that when his stupid lawyer, and she is a stupid. Let me see, Alina Habba. She puts on a show. Of course, this is how pathetic they are. Isn't it embarrassing? Do they have any dignity? But it's embarrassing. I get embarrassed for them as they're kissing Trump's ass and the way they have to pretend. Oh, it's such a witch hunt. It's such a witch hunt. And they all know it's not a witch hunt, honey. There are a lot of witches in this witch hunt. A lot of witches coming out of the woodwork if this is a witch hunt. So, where is it? Alina Habba. I'm sure you saw her comment outside the courtroom on I'm losing track of all of his trials. I made this little video. I put it up on the Tarabuster channel, but
organization and every employee of the Trump organization, which has single-handedly changed the New York skyline, including the building we are in today. These are special properties. Real estate is an art, not a science. But you know what else is an art? You know what else isn't a science?
Is she full of shit or what? They are so bad at acting. They're so bad. You know what else is an art? You know what else? Real estate is an art. Real estate is an art. No, it's it's not an art. It's not a matter of manipulate. Oh, because I think, therefore I am. I think my apartment is 1,000 feet bigger than what it is. I think. It's in my mind. Sometimes it's bigger. Sometimes it's smaller. I don't know. It's just square footage. It's an art. Sometimes I got to put my glasses on to see it. And then it's a lot. There's more. There's so much more footage. And then when I turn around, suddenly when the bills are coming, it shrinks. It's so weird like that.
Motivated individuals. She's using this to paint a canvas that Donald Trump is a fraudster because they can't beat him in the polls.
Because they can't. Well, the fact is here, the reason she's going on with this faux rage, it's another reason it's so tedious is that he's already been beaten. The case she's talking about here is the fraud trial. The case we were just discussing where he's banging the table. He might as well be throwing his SpaghettiOs around as a baby does. But that's the E. Jean Carroll rape case. He's already been found guilty of this rape. He's a convicted rapist. And this one, he's already been found guilty of being a fraudster. He is a fraudster. It's not, and so just that she's saying the way she's saying it, that
that Donald Trump is a fraudster because they can't beat him in the polls.
That in itself is bullshit. She's giving the impression that this is some kind of trial and they're being picked on. The trial's over, booby. You'd know that if you weren't. I mean, what kind of lawyer was she before? She really had no experience. I mean, but you get what you pay for. He likes the way she looks. That's all it's about. That's why she wears her low-cut tops. When she does these media hits, you can see her big boobs and her cleavage. That's all that matters to him. Does she look like a lawyer that he wants to bang? Does she make him look good on walking in? And she's got to put on a show. That's why the judge today was admonishing her left and right, because she doesn't know how to behave. She's not a lawyer. She has no experience. She's making a fool of herself. She is debasing herself, and good luck with that, honey, because you know that Trump will always leave you out. He'll leave you behind. You'll be under the bus next.
They can't beat him in the polls, so she ran on Trump because that was the only way she could win. And
She
now
won
today,
before.
after 11...
She won before. It doesn't matter, and she'll win again. It's like enough pretending that this is somehow a case that's in progress. He's been found to be a fraudster. He's a fraudster. And if you think that, this supposed real estate, genius, who he's not, of course, but if you think that he's such a genius, he doesn't know the square footage of his own apartment. He doesn't know. Sometimes it gets bigger. Sometimes it gets smaller. And he could say all he wants, that it's the accountant's fault, everybody's fault. It's the fault of the appraiser. It's the that's a narcissist for you. That's a malignant narcissist. And it's nobody's fault that his apartment gets bigger when he wants a loan and smaller when he has to pay his taxes. That's all him, booby. So give me a break.
weeks, after 3 years, we have concluded that he indeed committed no wrong. The Trump organization committed no wrong.
You're not the one concluding. After 3 years, we have concluded. Listen, bitch. After it's 3 years. Is it 3? It feels like 20. I'm only 15 years old. Look at me. That's how it feels. In there's all the jokes about how presidents leave office with, looking 10 years older. And that's the way the American people look. He hasn't changed at all. Yet, we look like we've aged 1,000 years, the rest of us. What is it? She's saying we've already won. You've lost. And then they cry. Oh, I couldn't get a jury. They wanted well, then you should have checked the box, bitch. That's all you. Oh, no, it's not Joe Biden can come in and check the box and say that you wanted the judge to hear it. That's what happened. His crack legal team said they wanted this to be adjudicated by the judge, not a jury. And then it's like, we wanted a jury. And then when they lose, as they do, because they're losers who are criminals, it'll be, oh, I wanted a judge. I wanted a jury. I wanted a judge. Which one I want now? I don't know. Which one is which hunt?
We have concluded that he indeed committed no wrong. The Trump organization committed no wrong, and the kids have been dragged in just like the other defendants, and it is wrong. America needs to step up, and there's only one person who can do that. America
needs to step up. The kids, we have concluded that Trump did no wrong, and the kids, the 40-year-old kids. Let's see, how old are Donald. Yeah, they're such innocent babes. And that's what I'm talking about. They might have the emotional age of kids, but their actual age, they're well above the legal drinking age. Barron, let's see, how old are they? Oh, fucking, I'm asking the AI, just give me a list. It's giving me the years they were born. I said, how old are they? I'm so sick of arguing with the AI. Okay, Donald Trump Jr. is 44. Ivanka Trump, it says no specific age was provided. Well, she's a woman. She's hiding her age like you should as a woman. Because no man wants you on their arm as you get older, as you make the mistake of waking up every day. Tiffany is 28. Barron is 16. How old is Eric? It's not even saying. He doesn't count, I guess. He's the rest. He was born on January 6, 1984. Who cares? Anyway, how old does that make him? Fucking don't give me the years, bitch. He's 40. And the kids
have been dragged in just like the others.
The kids
committed no wrong.
I'm sorry, I have to hear this from this part.
Individuals. She's using this to paint a canvas that Donald Trump is a fraudster because they can't beat him in the polls.
He painted his own canvas, dummy.
They can't beat him in the polls, so she ran on Trump because that was the only way she could win.
That was the only way.
Now today, after
anger.
11 weeks, after 3 years, we have concluded that he indeed committed no wrong. The Trump organization committed no wrong.
Well,
and
good
the kids.
thing you concluded that. Unfortunately, that's not the results of the trial, but okay. Tell yourself, whatever gets you through the night, honey. We have concluded. We, me, myself, and I. We, the royal we.
Committed no wrong. The Trump organization committed no wrong, and the kids have been dragged in just like the other defendants.
I love it.
And it is wrong. America needs to step up, and there's only one person who can do that. My client, Donald Trump.
Then she says, President Trump. Because they're very triggered. You understand? They're triggered when people don't call him President Trump. Because he's a triggered little snowflake bitch. And Alina Habba even mentioned that, saying that, that he wasn't getting as enough deference from the Attorney General and the people in the court. They weren't calling him President Trump. They were calling him Mr. Trump. And then Alina Habba, because she's been trained well by her, her con man daddy, that she goes on social media and she goes on Fox News to whine. It just kills them to call him President Trump. They all call him President Trump because he's a whiny, little, fragile bitch. No offense. Like I'm saying. 2 bitches. But let me see. So what else did he do? His antics. He was disruptive and confrontational because he's a baby. He banged on the table. What a goddamn disgrace. Really. And that's what I was saying earlier. Well, all day, that's all I could think. How much longer? Really? How much longer are we going to take it? How much longer are we going to allow this con man to degrade this country, to disgrace this country. So let's see. The judge threatened to expel him after he ignored warnings to stay quiet. Trump could be heard making remarks to his lawyers, including, "It's a witch hunt. It's a witch hunt. It really is a con job." Yeah, you're a con job. The kids. The judge warned Trump that his right to be present at the trial will be revoked if he continues to disrupt the proceedings. He's doing it because he knows that the corporate media is up his ass. You know, if they could put a camera up his colon, they would do it. But he knows, because you know what he's doing? He's stealing money from his PACs, from his political PACs, and all the idiots who are sending him, this con man, his their socialist security money to fight his legal battles. He wants all that money. He doesn't want to buy ads. He doesn't want to, use it for political purposes. He's going to use it to line his own pockets, as he's always done. He has a long history of misappropriating campaign funds, of stealing from the suckers who are stupid enough to send him money. He doesn't even bother to go through the motions and set up a PAC. He just says it. That's what it came out during the January 6 hearings, that he fundraised off the insurrection, saying, send your money to the Save America PAC, or whatever the fuck it was called. And he didn't even set it up. He counted on the stupidity of the people who vote for him. And it's the long history of Republicans misappropriating funds. That's booty. Let's see. He misappropriating funds. The Attorney General office sued the foundation. This is their charity, though. Their charity found that he can't have a charity, because that charity was also dissolved. This fake charity they concocted, that was described as little more than a checkbook for payments to not-for-profits from the Trump organization to the Trump organization. So he's like laundering money for himself through various front groups that he's setting up, like various LLCs for himself. Yeah. Oh, God in heaven. Why? What is this? When will it end? And it's not a hoax. It's not a fraud. Everything Trump is saying is either a confession or a projection. And as far as, they always talk about the Russia hoax, the Russia collusion hoax. Well, let's see. I just want to, because we brought it up, let me refresh everybody's memory that the Russia collusion bullshit is not a hoax, okay? When he says it's a witch hunt, it's like the Russia hoax. The fact is, a Senate Select Committee, remember this? Bipartisan Senate committee got together and they investigated the Russia interfering in the 2016 election. The Senate Select Committee on Intelligence released a report on Russia's attempt to sway the last election in Trump's favor, which confirms that this Russia gate is no hoax. The report provides a comprehensive presentation of the evidence in a matter of collusion, that he says no collusion, no collusion. And it shows that, let me see, in the evidence in the matter of collusion, and shows which strands of speculation deserve to be buried. Yes, Russiagate was not a hoax, as there is an article from The Atlantic that details every tie. Let me see. So the report exposes interactions and information exchanged between Russian intelligence and the Trump campaign. Okay? That there was a direct line between Russian intelligence officer Konstantin Kalimnik, remember him? And the then Trump campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. They were in direct communication. The report reveals how the Trump campaign willingly engaged with Russian operatives implementing the influence effort. So they knew what they were up to, that Putin was unleashing his bots and his trolls into the American discourse, as they are doing right now with the help of Elon Musk, man-child Musk, and the right-wing traitor sphere of propaganda. And yeah, now there's just simply worse checks and balances, worse than before, because we know about it now. Of course that's what the Russians do. Of course they do it. Why wouldn't they? And the Republicans are so stupid, they fall for it every time. They set up Facebook groups. They have these idiots showing up to protests organized directly from the Moscow intelligence offices under banner of some bullshit Trump Facebook page. And then these idiots show up being manipulated. And when they're told about it, we played the news report about this woman who was like, "Get out of here. You're fake news." When the reporter told her, your Facebook group is fake. It's created by Russian intelligence, and they're organizing events for you. And she's like, "Get out of here. You're fake news." I wish I could find that. Anyway, whatever. The report provides significant evidence that the Trump campaign associates coordinated with, cooperated with, encouraged, or gave support to the Russia/WikiLeaks election interference activities. The evidence of collusion has either already been exposed, as, for example, Trump officials taking a meeting with Russian agent Vladimir Putin's, excuse me, let me say this again. Trump officials taking a meeting with a Russian agent offering Vladimir Putin's help with the campaign, or happened right in front of our eyes, meaning the time when Trump said, "Russia, if you're listening, I want you to find all this evidence," right? So, therefore, the evidence for Trump-Russia collusion is based on factual reports and investigations that provide significant evidence of collusion. So, come on. That 5-second or whatever, 35-second maybe, explanation of the lie that Trump keeps repeating, Russia hoax, Russia hoax, Russia hoax. That's a deliberate attempt to whitewash and shove this down the memory hole. The fact that he's a traitor. Every way you look, he's a traitor. So I just did that. The corporate media is good at saying when they bring up the big lie, they say, Trump again said the election was stolen when it wasn't. They'll always qualify it. But they never, when he goes on about the Russia hoax, they never qualify. They never say the Russia investigation was not a hoax. Russiagate is not a hoax. There are a lot of people in prison right now for a hoax. A lot of witches in the witch hunt. So it's unbelievable. And then the other thing, and kind of along the same lines, how as they're doing these caucuses, which drives me up a wall. Like, who cares? Iowa, first in the nation. Why are you first? Because what? You're living in some cornfield? Because I heard somebody, one of the corporate media pundits, saying there's no more American place than Iowa. Yeah, really? No more America. I mean, what about New York? I don't know. We got the Statue of Liberty right there. We got the melting pot. We got art, museums. We got people coming from all over the world that want to come to New York. They want to see. They want to see the skyline of Manhattan with their own eyes. Nobody wants to go fly to see the the moon over the meth lab in Iowa. Nothing more America. I'm so sick. Aren't you sick of that too? Of these, well, Republicans do it all the time, saying this is real America. Real America. Nothing gets more American than this. Well, nothing's more American than, I guess, needlessly dying without health care. Nothing more American than that. It's true. There really is nothing more American than that, because since we're the only country on earth that doesn't have health care as a right, nothing more American than not having a day off. Nothing more American than not having any guaranteed sick leave or vacation time. Nothing more American than that. Right, Boudica? Booty. Give me this booty. Give me this Boudica. Right, honey? I know. You don't like it. You don't like it. You want to be free. You will. You will be free as soon as I give you a kiss. All right. You go. You go, booty. Go, booty, go. Go, booty, go. Oops, wrong camera. Go, booty, go. Right, Buddha? She's sitting in my lap. I was trying to get I don't know what happened to my iPhone camera. It disappeared. I'm losing my voice. Go, booty, go. Go, booty, go. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I shouldn't do that. It's probably very annoying to people. I apologize. I apologize. Sometimes I can't help it. So, okay. What else? We got some stories. We got more stories. Booty is on my lap. I wish I could show you. I'm afraid to move the camera. All right, Buddha, get down. Come on, Buddha. Booty boo. Okay. Anyway, so the judge said you just can't control yourself. And, he's a child. King baby. I would love it, Trump responded, taunting the judge. Yeah, you would, because you would cry victim. What a victim. Is there anybody more victimized than the Republican Party and their standard bearer? How do they live in a world where they're so persecuted? How do they handle it? I mean, they're such profiles in courage, aren't they? The way they they stand up to all the oppression that they're experiencing when people want them to not lie on their tax returns. They're just so put upon the way that we want them to want their standard bearer not to keep classified documents in the shitter. Who among us would be similarly treated with such cruelty if we had our documents in the shitter? I mean, my God, how does he stand it? He's like Jesus that way. Turn the other cheek. No, he gets up on the cross. As for turn the other cheek, he's so Jesus-y. The way he's like, if someone hits me, I hit him 10 times harder. Because that's what Jesus would do. But they make excuses for him. In fact, we've heard this before. They call him David. Like he's King David in the Bible. That's what they say. Well, King David was flawed and everything. And look what all the good he did. What good? See, they think making women die in back alleys is good because the Democrats don't listen to my show on the Democrats in the halls of power, and they never counteract with the fact that that criminalizing abortion doesn't reduce the abortion rate. I really wish they would. I mean, how wouldn't that just shut them up immediately when they're like pro-life? The Democrats would say, well, you're not pro-life because criminalizing the abortion rate does not reduce the abortion rate. It simply kills women. It makes it unsafe. So that's why it was decriminalized. That's why women had a right to an abortion, because it's health care. And if you were really pro-life, you would support the policies that actually reduce the abortion rate, which you constantly vote against. What is wrong with the Democrats that they don't say that? That the fact that the American people don't say, like, right off the top of their heads when a Republican, when they say I'm pro-life, that it isn't immediately followed by you're not pro-life because criminalizing abortions only kills women. It doesn't reduce the abortion rate. And in fact, the abortion rate in America has shown, this is historically, to decrease under Democratic presidents and policies. And this is according to data from the CDC. The abortion rate decreased 24% under the Obama administration. You know why? Because of expanded health care, sex ed, education, and economic policies that if somebody finds themselves pregnant by accident or whatever, they have options. And then, as far as abortions later in a term, somebody, if you get to a point where you need a late term abortion, it's because there's something wrong. Your life is in danger. That the fetus isn't viable. The fetus is sick. It's not going to survive. And that's why women have abortions at late in pregnancy. And the fact that that Democrats don't counteract with that makes me sick. And the other thing that they need to say is when they talk about pro-life and how women or how 9 weeks is great, and that they need Democrats want abortion right up to birth and all that. The Democrats need to counteract with the fact that, just saying that is insulting to women, because what they're saying is that women are evil. They can't be controlled. I mean, they can't be trusted with their own bodies. You see, because a woman, if it wasn't criminalized, they in the 9th month might go into a doctor and say, get it out of me. I just carried this pregnancy to term, and I'm due to be induced tomorrow, but you know what? Rip it out. I don't care. And that, nobody does that. That does not happen. So the fact that the Republicans spread that bullshit why can't I talk? It screams of misogyny. It betrays them as the misogynists they are. So, all right, Democrats, why don't you listen to me? If you're the answer, if you want to put that in the elevator speech, is if you were actually pro-life, you'd vote Democratic, because the abortion rate goes down, and all you do when you criminalize abortion is kill women in back alleys. Okay. Roger that. It's true. So as Nikki Haley, let's talk about her for a second, because this is another thing that's driving me nuts. With the stupid Iowa nonsense, and now I'm off to Kentucky or where the fuck, I don't know. Is there any place more American? Yeah, right here in Queens is the most culturally diverse neighborhood in the whole country. So I think that's pretty American. Just giving these people this whole like real America shit. Enough is enough. Stop it with that. But okay, so that Trump has already been found to be a sexual predator, a convicted rapist. And it's just now it's a matter of whether what the cost is. How much is it going to take to shut this con man's mouth, to shut this sexual predator's lie hole? How much? And so he's already been found to be a rapist. He's already, a jury of Americans saw the evidence, listened to both sides. They listened to E.G. Carroll. They listened to her friends that she told. Contemporaneous outcry. What do they call that? Immediate outcry witness. That's what she did. She talked to her friend. She said, "You won't. Donald Trump just raped me in the dressing room," and her friends were like, "Oh, let's go to the police." And she said, "I can't. He will bury me. This will never. I'll never win. It will ruin my entire life." That's what happened. She was afraid to report him, and that's what he expected. This is why he went around abusing women, grabbing them by the pussy when they were just standing there, and that's the truth. That's what he did. And I told you that story about my friend who told me a story. I know it's only anecdotal, but she said she knew her friend from college. She went to this ritzy, hoity-toity, highfalutin college. And she was in a sorority. And one of her friends came from big money in New York. She's still friends with her. They keep in touch on Facebook and all that. And when it all came out about Donald Trump's Access Hollywood tape, she said, and we were discussing it, and she said that her friend said it happened to her. She was, and her husband used to socialize sometimes with the friggin' Trumps, Melania and con man Parasite, the orange tax cheating grifter. And she said that she found herself, they were together one night. They were having a gathering. The Trumps were there. She was there with her husband, and for a moment, she found herself alone in the kitchen with Trump. And he pounced on her and started grabbing her by the pussy. He just attacked her. That's what she said. Like out of nowhere. There was no like wink wink or long gazing across a candlelight table or whatever the hell you straight people do. And she said that Melania walked in the room, saw it, and that was it. He pulled away, and because he walked in, and she just pretended she didn't see anything. And she was like, "What the fuck? Like, let's get the fuck out of here." But the fact is, Melania is grateful for anybody who gives him attention. She feels, a pat on the back. Like, thank you for keeping him away from me. And basically she said that that's the way it is. Like, Melania knows he's of course she knows. She's a trophy wife. So, what does she care? And she's happy, she's got her son. She's got her mansions and whatnot. So she's happy. Let him go and grab somebody by the pussy. I don't care. He's not grabbing mine. Like, you think that they get together and they're like, Melania, my dear. And she's like, I don't know. What does she call him? Gold bars? No, I don't know. That's Menendez. She calls them, like pet names. Yes, my darling. And then they look each other in the eye. She probably squints because it hurts. And they make sweet, passionate love. Sweetly. And then they just lay in bed, dreaming and talking about all their hopes and dreams and inner whatever's thoughts. Because they're so in love. And then they take their time. They walk on the beach. They just love each other. So it's such a beautiful thing to see. Could you imagine it? No. It's very unnatural. She's not please. Apparently, in the White House, they slept in separate rooms. So, that says it all. She don't want to bang him. She didn't want to bang him when she banged him. And she just let him get it over with. That's all he's capable of anyway. Are you kidding me? You think he's good in bed? Absolutely no chance. No chance in this world. First of all, we know because he was so eager to have the New York Post, say best sex I ever had about him. Because he's inadequate. Who needs that? Who needs that kind of validation? Except somebody who is a fraud on every level and knows he sucks in bed. Why do you need that? Why are you so adamant about having that printed in the paper? Can you imagine? Why? You don't need to tell us. I mean, like, there are some famous people that we could tell. I mean, they're probably good in bed, right? Because what does it take? You know, you can't be a selfish prick. You know what he does. He gets on top of her or behind her and he sticks it in and that's it. And then he moves it around and then he's like, do I have that video of him? Oh, I wish I had it. Where he's like, where he's making noises. Like I think he's mocking somebody else having sex. And that's all we need to see. He's disgusting. Oh, yeah, here's, don't take my word for it.
Physical attributes.
Or lack of.
You described his penis as smaller than average, but not freakishly small.
Right.
But you also said that he has a very unusual penis, like a huge mushroom head,
yes.
like a toadstool. And you said in the book, I lay there annoyed that I was getting fucked by a guy with Yeti pubes and a dick like the mushroom character in Mario Kart.
Yeah, I ruined Mario. Do you know how much hate mail I got from Super Mario fans?
I bet.
So much. I single-handedly ruined mushroom farmers and Mario Kart fans in one sentence. They were so angry. And I'll tell you that, like, that's one of the things that people sometimes give me shit about is, why did you body shame him? Why did you do that? And that's not something I would normally do. You know what I mean? I only did it because he called me a liar. Hey, Mr. Trump, all you have to do to prove I'm lying right now, drop your pants. Prove that I'm lying. Prove I didn't see your dick.
Right.
He hasn't done it, has he?
I don't think he will either. I mean, to be fair. Okay, you said it may have been the least impressive sex I've ever had, but clearly he didn't share that opinion.
Correct.
So he got off, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
The least
Condoms?
impressive she ever had, ever.
And he, as someone who's
condoms.
doing porn and understands fully the
condom.
implication of
That's
STDs.
I told you, I blacked out and he was already in there.
And plus, you're talking about you were using condoms when you're actually shooting. So you, of all people, are way
Stormy
more
Daniels,
educated
America's
than
sweetheart.
anyone else when it comes to the dangers of that.
Exactly.
And you
America's
said, I guess
sweetheart.
you didn't
She's
know,
the
and
best.
then
Yeah, it was already almost over by the time I kind of was like, oh my God, this is really, oh God, you got to be fucking kidding me. I didn't even have a condom on me. That's the other thing is if I was an escort or I was going up to expect that, I remember what purse I had. It was a little gold bag that matched my heels that had a chain and it did not have a condom in it. Like I don't even go to dinner or like out without a condom on me now, just in case, but that's not what I was there for.
yeah. Okay, and then
wow.
did you meet up with
Especially
him?
because I am allergic to latex. So I always bring my own condoms because if I were to meet somebody and we were to hit it off and we want to go, chances are he wouldn't even have the right condom for me. So I always brought my own and I didn't have any with me. Like it was not even in my realm of possibilities. And I fully admit that was me being fucking naive and stupid. I admit it.
Well, did you meet up with him again?
Yes.
Okay. And was this the time when you got a phone call from Hillary Clinton?
It was not the very next time. I think
So how many times did you guys meet up total?
4.
4 times.
4.
Over the course of how long?
10-ish months.
Okay,
Less than a year. Less than a year.
Okay, within the same year.
He was promising
Okay.
her a role on The
Okay, and
Apprentice.
I guess between those meetings, he's still stringing you along about the whole apprentice thing?
Yes. So I was
He's a dirtbag.
traumatized, obviously. I mean, not as much as Mario fans, but you get the idea.
I love her.
But first of all, I didn't remember part of it. And I didn't even realize that I didn't remember it, But I didn't say no. I didn't realize that I had been, and I still don't feel like a victim. That's just giving the person power. Like, I just didn't really feel like it was whatever. I just was like, I did this and it's not going to be for nothing. I'm going to follow through. He kept dangling. Like, I never called him. He always called me. I was like, I'm just going to make sure that I'm never alone. And I was never alone with him again. Not once. You know, I always had somebody with me or right outside the door. And then one time I went to the Beverly Hills Hotel. My publicist, who at this point we had started dating, I was not dating anybody when I went to Tahoe, was right outside the door. And I also like told him I made a big show about pretending to be on my period and having cramps, which I didn't. But anyway, I took precautions, but I was not going to let that opportunity go, you know, because then it would have really been for nothing.
I love her. America's sweetheart, Stormy Daniels. Here, listen. Here he is. You want to get sick? I'm sorry. I have to do it. Wait, I gotta move this. I gotta move it.
Mr. President, everybody is
Wrong one. Wrong
Looks
one.
down, she says, true. He was just named female. Would not deal with arms that are 30 feet long.
Oh, you pig.
And her mother and father are screaming, you got it. You got it, darling. I'm so proud of my girl.
Isn't he a pig? No offense to pigs. But when he when he acts out sex, let me see. There he is mocking somebody. Because that's all he can do. Kick down on people. Let me see. Trump moans. There we go. Oh, trans athletes. Yes, he did a disgusting anti-trans, routine. Oh, when he's moaning. There was another one where he was like moaning. Oh, whatever. Who cares? Back to, I'm sorry to do that to you guys. Isn't he vile? Yeah, we gotta mock it. But whenever he does act out sex, it's always like, oh, yeah. What is with this? He's always got his arms up like that, which makes you confused. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing back there? Yes, I feel bad, Elise. Yes, I don't want to call him a pig. Pigs are smarter, more attractive, and smell better, as Elise says on the chat. Yes, they're charming, they're intelligent, and they would never be so vile as he is. And they have contributed so much to humanity. Not just the giving their very lives for human sustenance, but in the realm of medicine, medical advancements. Yeah, we're very close to pigs as physiologically, and they are used for a lot of experimenting or whatever. Even though in the back in the day, but pigs, to call him a pig is to give him a promotion. So back in the trial, the judge warned Trump that his right to be present at the trial will be revoked. And he was like, yeah, bring it on. E. Jean Carroll displayed solemnity while Trump exhibited flippancy. I can't talk. Trump exhibited flippancy and volatility during the trial, with his proneness to childish outbursts of anger. What a disgusting, filthy, parasite. And then they're saying, oh, he won in Iowa. He won. Well, you know what he won? He didn't win. What did he win? Last time when this bullshit process took place, he won like over 90% of the vote. Okay? In general, of all the candidates, because all of these real Americans, they're not real Americans. They like fascism. They like a con man who treats people like shit. They like a kiss up, kick down fraudster, as long as, he's as racist as they are. So this time, I think there was, how many people? I saw this. Let's see. Because there was a snowstorm, and he only received 50% of the vote. 50% of the electorate voted for him. So he's like, he won. It was a blowout. Well, over half, as opposed to the last time, over half of these morons who show up for this Republican clown show, this rotting corpse of a party, they you lost 50% of them, Donald. It don't bode well, thankfully. It's so tiring beating fascism every day. Oh, constantly beating fascism. Now we got to beat fascism again. Can we just stop? Well, and then I was going on about Nikki Haley. She's another one. So as it happens all the time in the Republican, rotting corpse of a party, as they try to find somebody to lead them, you're not going to find anybody. I'm telling you, Republicans, give it up. You don't need anybody. You should just have a generic cutout of a human. Make it gender neutral. It doesn't, whoever it is, it matters not, because you're not looking for a leader. You're looking for a mouthpiece that will spew your bullshit and kiss up on the rich, kick down on the poor, try to cut Social Security. It's all about tax cuts and deregulation. That's it. That's all you got. And racism, of course. Racism, anti-trans, anti-gay, outside group. And, we go through this all the time with these shining lights. I was going to say city on the hill. may as well be. They're Johnny Bravos of the moment. They're flavor of the month. And we've been through this. Flavor of the minute. And it was Ron DeSantis not too long ago. It was Marco Rubio was going to save the Republican Party. Remember that? He was their new guy. He was their new up-and-coming young guns. And Chris Christie at one time, he was in the forefront. He was, a new kind of Republican. Yeah, real courageous Republican. That I love the way he used to go out on the Jersey Shore boardwalk with his press people, filming everything while he walked around eating junk food and yelling at people. That's what he did. And he would put it on his social media site. Oh, here's Chris Christie yelling at, a 78-year-old retired teacher. Because, unions suck, and they hate the teachers union most of all, because teachers are, the teachers union, it's one of the pillars of democracy to have an educated populace, and they hate that. So they want to destroy unions and the teachers union. They want to kick the legs right out of the pillars of democracy. They want to knock that shit right over. So that's why they go after teachers. And they're saying, oh, you're indoctrinating our kids. What? With facts and math and history and what are we indecency? Just teach them reading, writing, and arithmetic. Well, which books are we going to read? Because you don't want to read books. Even the dictionary's out of bounds now. So, but that's what Chris Christie used to do, because he was one of their up-and-coming stars, even though that's all he did was yell at people. yell at teachers' unions, people who didn't have power. But, and I specifically remember, I don't know if you remember when he was the governor, he was just a complete asshole, shutting down the George Washington Bridge and all that, right? We remember that. There's going to be some traffic problems in Fort Lee, famous, right? And so he said something. I don't remember exactly at the time what he said. He said something about is like that had to do with Israel, and but he phrased it wrong, phrased it in a way that was like pro-Palestinian, if I remember correct. I don't remember exactly what he said. And I think, I don't know, it pissed off Sheldon Adelson. Let's put it that way. And Chris Christie got on a plane in the middle of the night and went to Las Vegas specifically, with the sole purpose, while he was governor of New Jersey, the sole purpose of kissing Sheldon Adelson's ass, begging his forgiveness. Yeah, but you notice that's how they treat billionaires. That's how they treat their big moneyed benefactors. When it comes to the voters, the working class, the people who make this world go round, the teachers who impart wisdom on our youth so we don't have to live in a nation of dullards, in a nation of Trumpanzees, that we live in an educated nation that shares a common story, right? That shares the common understanding of what it is to live in a democracy. How out of the ordinary that is in human history, and how that needs to be cherished and cultivated. And then that they're taught how to think critically. That's what happens when you learn, and when you learn things and you read books that you might not have read on your own, but then they're assigned to you, so you read it, and then you have a discussion about it, and you might even learn, like, wow, I like reading. I like seeing the world. There's such this big, amazing world through other people's eyes. There are so many American experiences. It's not just, the real Americans in Iowa who they like Trump. They just wish he would shut up. That's what they keep saying. Oh, I just wish he would stop. I wish he would stop. Like back in the day, they would say, I wish he would stop tweeting. Why? Because, they like his policies. What fucking policies? Excuse my language, but it's after 11. And what policies? The only thing he ever did was pass a tax cut for that 87% of which went to the top 1%. He came into office in a time where income inequality was worse than in America than it is in the Roman Empire. And he said, you know what? I'm going to make that income inequality and upward immobility worse by funneling even more money to the top, by robbing more money from the working class to the top and giving it to the 1%. My pals. And he even said, well, he wants them, that they're not his pals. They think he's a joke. They always thought he was a joke. But he wants so badly to be accepted by them. So he even said it recently. He was talking to a bunch of rich fuckers, and he was like, I'm going to lower your taxes. Oh, yeah, you wait. Get me in office. I'm going to lower your taxes. That's all that matters to them, right? Another zero on the bank account. Another, dollar you'll never spend. Another dollar if the Republicans have their way, you'll be able to pass on to your undeserving heirs tax-free as the Republicans re-establish an intergenerational aristocracy, the likes of which the founders, fought a revolution and overthrew. So they're rolling back the American Revolution. So anyway, so they had who was the Republican flavors of the month? Let's see. Republicans flavors of the month. Let's see what the AI comes up with. Like Marco Rubio, Chris Christie. Oh, Bobby Jindal. Right? She was one. I mean, he was one. Who else? Let me see. List all the Republican rising stars. I don't know. And there were others. There's so many. Joni Ernst. That was one, like a hot minute. The Republican Party pushed to the forefront as a potential president. Let's see what it says. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Remember? Oh, here we go. Yes. Marco Rubio, Bobby Jindal, Ben Sass. Yeah. Remember him? Where is he? He was their flavor. Chris Christie, Nikki Haley. Also, she's on the list, but Scott Walker. Remember him? He was going to be, he's a potential president. We kept hearing because he hated unions. He kicked down on the unions. So that's all you need. And he kissed up to the rich. He made everything worse. But Nikki Haley is the worst, frankly. She really is. I don't know. I don't get it, but I don't have to get it. I don't get Trump. These people are sick, and they're looking for their flavors of the month. But they for some reason, because you know what it is. It's a game of it's really like a game of Survivor for these people. And they all suck. They all equally suck and have nothing to offer but I don't know, but the end of Social Security and the end of decency, dignity, democracy, and and our reputation. And she came in third place in Iowa, and she was like, "We won." They were all saying that. Trump's like, "I won." Then DeSantis said, "Yeah, we really hit it out of the park." And then Nikki Haley's like, "We're on to the next. We won. Everybody, we won." She went. Oh, well, I think it was DeSantis went to every county. They don't like you, buddy. Guess what? You're not going to be president. Thank God. He would never be president. He's a horrible person. Look at his stupid head. His stupid bobblehead. Bobblehead aside, he's just a terrible person. And, he has Nazi, like he doesn't care. He likes Nazis. And, he says nothing about the Nazis outside Disney. I mean, what idiot goes on to war against the Disney Corporation, one of the largest employers in your state? He's like, oh, and the other thing that it gets on my nerves about him, his voice. I hate his voice. Not that I'm a chorus of angels over here, but he's got something. The tone in his voice and he's constantly up talk. I hate that. The up talk. He's like, just because you think you're woke, like he's always got this up talk shit going on. I don't know what it is, but it's grating on my spine. And yes, and just because, like, I don't know what it is. It's the tone. But anyway, back to Nikki Haley. She is a terrible not leader. She's not a leader. But they're like, I like Nikki Haley. Why? It's so baffling. You like absolute nothing people who you just like somebody who stands there and is like, what do you want me to say? She literally said that. What do you want me to say about slavery? I don't want you to say anything. I want you to say what you want to say. Let me be clear. And then she has, why do you have to go qualify your statements? Let me be clear about this. It is about slavery the next day, but it is about so much more. No, it wasn't. And we already went through. No, Nikki, it was about slavery. That's what happened. That's why the states seceded. And they declared it in their secession documents. We've read them, and they're disgusting. So, and why? And that's why we don't honor the Confederacy. They're a fucking bunch of traitors who fought for the worst possible cause of human bondage. I mean, what? It's not, oh, heritage. That's our heritage. Well, your heritage is shit. Well, your heritage is a joke. You should be ashamed of your heritage. It's like when some of these times, you ever see that show, Who Do You Think You Are? And sometimes they'll have the person will go, it'll be, some celebrity will find out their very detailed ancestry. And sometimes it comes out like, wow, my great, 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 great uncle owned other human beings or, did something fucked up. And you don't like that. It's not like you don't put that on the wall and say, I'm just honoring my heritage. That's the uncle you leave in the closet. You don't say, oh wow, you know what, I went on Who Do You Think You Are? And they did a very detailed genealogy, and I found out that Uncle Bob was a slaveholder. And look, I put him right here in the place of honor in my home because heritage. That's my heritage, and we should honor our heritage. Well, you should know. I mean, you should honor the positive things about your country and about humanity. That's why you don't put up statues to traitors, right? You put up statues, you hand out honors and awards, you commemorate the decent things in life because you want more of that. You want more decency. You want, you don't give out awards for being a selfish asshole, right? There'll be no statue of Ted Cruz with one of those rolling luggage thing, the luggage case. Nobody's going to put up a statue to Cancun Cruz as he flees Texas in the middle of a power outage / ice storm. Although, maybe that's our heritage. You don't put that up there because that's a behavior that is, you don't want to emulate. You don't want to honor that. What you would do if somebody had some honor, and courage, and they stayed around and they helped when the going got tough, instead of getting on a plane and effing off to Cancun and then blaming your daughters on it, then you know what I mean? You don't put you don't put up statues to people who are horrible. Anyway, and let me say Cancun Cruz. I'm looking him up. I'm looking at a picture. Hold on. I want to share the picture. Here. Can I download the picture? God damn it. Sometimes the internet cooperates. Sometimes it does not. Let me see. Images. There we go. Come on, Cancun. Oh, Cancun Cruz. Will you ever learn? Could you? This would be a great statue. Actually, let me see something here. Let me see. Hold on. But anyway, while I'm trying to do this, see what happens here. Let me see if I can make a. Let me see what the AI says about this. Let me see. All right, let's see. Turn this person. I don't think it'll work. Into a statue. It'll probably just give me a statue. I'm using the AI on Photoshop. Trying to make Cancun Cruz into a statue. Yeah, it didn't do it. We're not going to be taken over by AI anytime soon. I wonder if anyway, I'll do this later. I'm losing people. I'm losing you. We're almost done. I just want to play Nikki Haley, and then we'll call it a night, and I'll see. And I have more to do, but we'll do it on Friday. Listen to my voice. So they asked. So we know all about Nikki Haley and racism. Yes, and slavery. Right? We're not. First of all, she says, "What do you want me to say about slavery?" Here's another thing that she's saying. You might have seen this. They asked her, "Is America a racist nation?"
Are you a racist party? Are you involved in a racist?
Excuse me. She was asked, "Is she involved in a racist party?" Is the Republican Party a racist party? Of course, it was a, gotcha nose kind of question. I hate that. Oh, whenever they can't answer, like a human, they're like, that's a gotcha question. Gotcha. I gotcha. Gotcha nose, you cutie. It's not a gotcha question. But that's, they're just, they can't compete.
No, we're not a racist country, Brian.
Is this a racist party? It's not a racist country, Brian. Look at me. I'm indignant. I can't believe you asked. Brian, we're not a racist country. Pay no attention to the income gap, the family wealth of African American families as opposed to white families. That doesn't mean anything. If African American family wealth is $5,000 and white family wealth is $100,000, that means we're not racist. It just means that black families are worth $5,000. Brian. And white families are $100,000. Isn't that's yeah, I said it on Fox News, and that's what we say on Fox News. But that's what they're trying to get us to ultimately. I wish somebody would bring that up with these pricks. Why don't they listen to me ever and take my advice and take it and ask these questions? Not, the abortion thing, we have that nailed. That's how you counteract it. This bullshit about we're not a racist nation. Ask them. Then watch them trip over themselves. When you say, well, if we're not a racist nation, why is it that the intergenerational wealth of black families is about 95% less than white families? So, can you explain that? Is it just that they're worth less? Is that what you're saying? That they simply work less? They work at the $5,000 range. And white families just work more. Or is there something in the system? Because it's not about people's hearts, what's in their hearts, what people feel. That has nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter if somebody's a racist, as long as if the policies are good and there aren't any built-in privileges or whatnot, which there are and were, then we should all be competing on a level playing field. But they never do. That's the thing. The rich, the big moneyed benefactors of the Republican Party, they don't want to, pay their fair share or whatnot. So that's what they're doing. They're pleasing these benefactors and basically promoting that it's not the system, booby, it's you. But they have to have their bluff called. If ask them. It's basically that's what they're saying. If we're not a racist country, we're not talking about people. That's the other thing that Republicans do. Oh, I'm not racist. We ran into racism. So if some asshole called you a racist slur, that's not a policy. It doesn't matter. But if that racism is admitted or whatever the system is a reflection of that we've had racist policies in this country for hundreds of years. So that has an effect. And it has an effect to this day because, I hear, forever white people are like, I never held any slaves. That's beside the point. There are policies in this country that created the income gap, the wealth gap between rich and poor, but also the gap between black and white. To say we're not a racist country. You know, she's so indignant about this bullshit. Are you a racist party? Yeah. Just listen to Nikki Haley deny the facts, the truth. This is a party of babies that they're unfit. They're unfit to hold a leadership position in this country because we have problems to deal with, and they can't even fucking accept the problems. They don't even acknowledge these problems exist. It's like being in a alcoholic home and everybody's in denial while daddy's laying on the floor drunk again. And let's not talk about it. Daddy's not a drunk. He goes to work. Daddy's not drunk. Right? I mean, and nothing's going to happen if nobody ever wakes up to the truth. Or the abuse, you know, you're living in an abusive relationship or something. It's not, it's just, he's not abusive. He's just high strung. I don't know. You know, make excuses. You're not fit. These people are unfit. And yet, here's another example. Nikki Haley is so unfit to be president. It's like insulting that she's even trying. And that she's getting, to this place. The fact that she's in a party of three now. 3 possible choices. One of them's going to be effing Donald effing Trump. And this bitch, you know what's going to happen? He's going to pick her to be his VP. And she's going to say, oh, yes, Mr. President. Even though you're a traitor, you're unfit, you're a giant baby, right after you're in the midst of an insurrection, but right after the beer hall putsch, January 7th, January 6th Capitol insurrection riot. Why did I say 7th? I was like, we were wrong to follow Donald Trump. We were wrong. Except, flip-flop. Were we wrong? Or now we're not wrong? We're not wrong now because, wait, are we wrong again? Or we're right now to follow him because he's only gotten worse. He's only getting worse and it's not stopping. He's still lying about everything from his wealth to his weight to the election to everything. From A to Z, he is a relentless God. He is like syphilis himself. And I mean, there's got to be a cure for this. But this Republican Party, they just, it's like they might as well, they are syphilis, like Al Capone. He died. He ended up losing his mind at the end because he had syphilis that he never took care of. He apparently, I don't know. I never had syphilis and I don't have a penis, but apparently he was like pissing pus and he did nothing about it. He was just like, it'll go away. So, it went away, went right into his brain. So, I mean, we're not a racist nation. Are you 2 years old, Nikki? What is wrong with you? Why can't these Republicans face the truth? Because the fact that they can't, it means there is no hope. There's no hope of change. There's no hope of becoming a more perfect union. There's no hope of having a unified country, being happy, like having a country that like even lands on the list of happiest nations. Forget it. Forget about it. And to say, I mean, what an insult. It's an insult to everything. It's an insult to everybody in this country. And especially our black, our African American brothers and sisters, our fellow Americans, who they are being yet again just symbolically annihilated, just not even acknowledged. It's incredible. And it's insulting. We should all be insulted. I'm insulted. I'm insulted that she thinks we're this stupid. That we're dumb. That we're all. I mean, that's the thing that they forget about about America. That we're not. I mean, frankly, the majority of this country is not as dumb as the people who vote for these Republicans. They forget that. Donald Trump lost. He's a loser. He is a loser. He's going to keep losing. He has lost in everything he ever did. He's just he's good at grifting. And to say America's not a racist nation, what about slavery, Nikki? That's a fucking racist policy. Race-based slavery. And then after that, we had Jim Crow laws. That's our history. Did that happen or not, Nikki? Then we had the black codes. They were enacted after the Civil War, designed to restrict the freedom of African Americans and ensure that they were basically living as as much in an indentured state. If they couldn't be slaves, they were going to be a cheap-ass workforce, cheap labor. That's the Republican Party now of today. Of course, back then it was the Democratic Party. I know that the Republicans are like, the Democrats. And in fact, in these scummy so-called history books that the Republicans are pushing, they're purposely including that it was the Democratic Party that was the pro-slavery party. They have to put that out there as if, because it also is another example of how infantile they are. As if, well, that must mean they're the same. It's the Democratic Party that were the racists. So that means today it's the same name. Whatever you call it, you just got to call it the same name, and then it doesn't matter what's in it. It's just the name. So why don't you pick up some dog poo, put it on an ice cream cone, and say, "Here, I got you some ice cream." Since it doesn't matter what's in it, it just matters what it's called. Put some poo-poo on an ice cream cone. It's ice cream. Right? It doesn't matter what the ingredients are, what it's made of, what it does, how it affects you. It's ice cream. We call it ice cream. So, yeah, and then there was housing segregation that at a federal, state, and local level, there were housing policies. The Federal Housing Administration and the state agencies, local agencies that literally mandated segregation. Redlining, remember that? this also led, to inequality, upward immobility, keeping people in these, in these tightly controlled areas known as ghettos. Here comes Junior, the producer. And, and that's why we have like good schools and bad schools, because those tightly controlled areas, when you have poverty, you deny resources, you deny infrastructure, so it makes it harder to commute to jobs that might pay better, and you restrict access to education, and then you have these schools in these neighborhoods that are funded through property taxes, and because nobody's paying they're not paying taxes because they're in poverty, so they have a shitty school, and then it just continues, so they don't get educated, and they're stuck in these communities that don't have a lot of economic mobility, and they're in a trap. It's a trap built through policy. So the fact that these infants, this baby party of authoritarian, they want of big daddy lovers. That's what they want. They want a daddy. That's why they want daddy to save them. They need a big daddy overlord, because they're babies. I mean, a baby needs a daddy, right? Your baby, you need a mommy, you need a daddy, you need your baby. Help me, mommy. Help me, daddy. That's who they want. They are. That's why they have it. They are authoritarians, because this complex world, there's so much to do. And when you're a baby, you see things so very in black and white. That's good, that's bad. Everything's good. America, wee, red, white, and blue, black, everything's black and white. Red, white, and blue. Eagles, stars. That's what it means. Patriotism. But then you get older and you kind of figure out, well, there's a little bit more to it than that, isn't there? And I mean, this country was so racist. We had so many racial policies that the Nazis, they looked to us for inspiration. And in fact, they studied the Jim Crow race-based laws, and they pointed it out. Hey, it's happening in America, and we should look to America. They so where is this? They studied the eugenics laws. Yeah, they used it as a model, and specifically they pointed to Mississippi. Yeah. Isn't that nice? Anti-Semitic Nazi policies that preceded the Holocaust were inspired in large part by segregationist laws practiced and passed in the United States. Isn't that amazing? And then you had, and it's part of why we had, the civil rights movement and all of the movements after not the Civil War, after World War II. Because what happened to a lot of black GIs was that they would go overseas and they were like, holy shit, we're not treated like shit here. We can walk into stores. There's no segregation. We don't have to sit at, the back of the bus. And there were even doctrines, or whatever you call it, orders from the Americans not to be so nice to the African American GIs, because that might get them too uppity. Yeah, when Hitler was in prison, while in prison in 1924 for his January 6th, Adolf Hitler learned of the new U.S. immigration laws that created quotas. Oh, that's not racist, though. To limit immigrants, but only allowing the white countries to come in. It was called the Immigration Act of 1924. Incredible. So, yeah. Let's continue with Nikki.
We've never been a racist country. Our goal is to make sure that today is better than yesterday. Are we perfect? No. But our goal...
Nikki, you are nailing it, girl. Our goal, we got to be better than yesterday, baby. You come a long way, baby. You're white privilege, right? That's what Nancy May said. You got white privilege. Like, she's defining white privilege. Like, that's what it is. Yeah, that's it. White privilege is when you're the son of the president and you go in front of a bunch of goons that want to manipulate your words behind closed doors and you sit there. That's white privilege. It's not everything else we've been talking about. It's not that doors open for some and closed for others. She's so tedious, you know? She's such a child. But what is so offensive is that she thinks we all are. We're as dumb as she is. What do you want me to say about racism? Oh, okay. We're not a racist nation. We're not. And you know what? I'm gonna go the old life coach route. We gotta be better today than we were yesterday. Are we perfect? No. Yeah, those Jim Crow laws, they weren't perfect, but they weren't racist. It was just that they weren't perfect. We want some perfect Jim Crow laws. It's such an embarrassment that people are even, considering her. She's not presidential material.
Is to always make sure we try and be more perfect every day that we can.
We're doing it after all, like Mary Tyler Moore.
Try and be more perfect every day that we
try. Be more perfect. Try. We're not perfect. No, it wasn't perfect. We were trying by making people. Some people were in, some people are out. Even though she says, I experienced racism growing up. She's supposed to be, because she's, Indian. So we're supposed to be like, oh, wow. She really knows it all. She knows oppression, doesn't she? God, I hate these people. But the other thing that she said, where is it? We're not racist. Oh, yeah, here's the thing. We're going to wrap it up after this because it's almost midnight and I can barely talk. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. I'm just trying to be better than I was yesterday and my voice is giving out.
Feel about your party's front runner being held?
This is another thing that makes me want to just question why people? Don't you have any self-respect? So, of course, Donald Trump, like we were saying, he is a sexual predator. It's been decided already. He's been found guilty of being a sexual predator. And they asked Nikki about it.
Feel about your party's front runner being held liable for sexual abuse.
I mean, first of all, I haven't paid attention to his cases, and I'm not a lawyer. All I know is that he's innocent until proven guilty.
Hey, bitch, he's been proven guilty. I'm not a lawyer, but I want to be the president, though. And all I know, I don't know what I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I'm a woman. You could trust me. You know, I got a lot of word salad when it comes to women and how women are, you know, being oppressed. And I know all about abortion. You know, I'm going to be the one that's going to bridge the gap. You know, these Democrats, they want women to have all these rights. I want them to have some rights, you know, abortions for some and rights for some. You know, as long as you're rich and white. Excuse me. I mean, the not racist, totally not racist me or country. And I don't pay attention. I'm just a little, I'm little old me trying to be this big old president of the big old states of totally not racist America. And I don't know. I took down the flag, the Confederate flag, because it hurt some people. Others, it was heritage. But then that heritage hurt some people. Yeah, as Stephanie on the chat says, I'm not a lawyer either, but I know the truth. I mean, you know, I don't pay attention to the news. I get my news from memes. Like the rest of the right wing, I am a proud graduate of Meme University, LLC.
I'm not a lawyer. All I know is that he's innocent until proven guilty. And when he's proven guilty and he's sitting in a courtroom, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You've got investigations on Trump and Biden.
A lot of people.
And Biden. It's the same thing. It's the both sides. That's what I'm talking about. You got to investigate. What investigation on Biden? He had some classified documents in his house, but first of all, they weren't in the shitter, and they weren't being withheld. They were found during an audit after the fact. You know, let's see, do we have anything here that we shouldn't have? And they were self-reported. We hear, you know, my bad, I have this, come get it. That's what happened. Whereas Trump, they were like, give us the documents, you traitorous scumbag. And he's like, no, we're going to move it. We're going to copy it. We're going to take it on a plane to meet with the Saudis. That's what he did. He took it on a plane to go to the fucking golf course and meet with these pricks, the Saudis. You know, Mohammed bin Bonesaw and all the 9/11 hijackers. And Trump had to bring a box of classified documents with him for some reason. He's a traitor. He should, oh my God, he should be in jail. This country we should be ashamed that he's even running for office. He should be in prison. You know, look at what they did in Brazil. Bolsonaro. He's not eligible. They took on their traitors immediately. And we had Merrick the mild, Merrick the meek, sitting on his hands. I don't know. While the corporate media is like, the president just left the courtroom. Hello? He's not the president. Jesus Christ. All I know, I'm not a lawyer. And there's some investigations on Biden. Well, guess what? What investigate? Oh, well, the ones that the Republican, he's got an impeachment inquiry. That's an investigation. What investigation? You stupid, dumb. Ugh. I'm good at words. I make a lot of words come out of my mouth, but I look at me. I'm dancing as fast as I can here, honey. Work with me. That's what she's saying. That's what her mind is going. Well, let me see. I like word salad. Nikki Word Salad, they called me. I could word salad with the best of them. And then I could jump rope. I could do it backwards and in heels.
Sitting in a courtroom, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You've got
See, wait, let's just say, until he's sitting in a courtroom.
All I know is that he's innocent until proven guilty, and when he's proven guilty and he's sitting in a courtroom.
When he's proven guilty and he's sitting in a courtroom.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. See, she makes no sense. When he's proven guilty, I'm not a lawyer, but when he's proven guilty and he's sitting in a courtroom, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Well, cuckoo, cuckoo. That's exactly. And what does the CNN moderator say? Oh, right, nothing.
Got investigations on Trump and
they got investigations on Trump and Biden. Okay, there's a few questions there. What are you talking about? What investigations on Biden? Thirdly, fourthly, and fifthly, he's already been found liable. And he's sitting in a courtroom. That's what I'm talking about. He's sitting in a courtroom. He's been judged by a jury of his peers and by a judge to be guilty.
But a lot of people, forgive me, but a lot of people in the Republican Party blow it all off and say that it's all a witch hunt, and which is
because I think some of the cases have been political.
Particular,
get the fuck out of here. Some of them are. Which ones? Which ones? The insurrection, the classified documents, the rape. Which ones, Nikki? Some of them are. Some. Give us the ones. I mean, this CNN moderator. What is wrong with them? It's like they don't ever want to, I guess, not be nice to word salad lady.
This one I haven't looked at, but look, if he's found guilty, then he needs to pay the price. He needs to do what he's supposed to.
If he's already been found guilty. And she never said anything. Look, some of those 91 indictments are motivated, are politically motivated. Which ones, Nikki? Which ones? Because the indictments, it's not like he's got 91 different cases going on. 91 indictments are from 3 cases. Well, how many cases does he have? Am I getting it? See, it's hard to keep track. He's probably, I say he must be committing a crime, right? Another crime right here, right now, somehow. Let me see. How many cases? It's the classified documents, it's the insurrection, and the rape, right? Wait, I think there's one more. How many cases does Trump have against him now? Multiple. I know, 91, but let's see. He has a civil suit, charges related to, the fraud trial, the rape, he's got 4, that's right. The rape, the classified documents, the fraud trial, and the insurrection. So, which ones are not are politically motivated? Give us. You got the indictments. Is it the rape that he's already been found guilty of? The fraud he's already found guilty of? The insurrection we saw with our own eyes? Or the classified documents that we all saw with our own eyes sitting in the shitter? All right, guys, listen. My voice is going. I'm going to play around with this audio thing some more and try to figure it out better, stronger, faster. We can rebuild it. And in the meantime, I see everybody's leaving and going to sleep. So, pleasant dreams, every beautiful one. My beautifuls, my beauties. Fly. And get back here at 8:30-ish p.m. on Friday evening. I got more to talk about. We're gonna discuss Nick Fuentes, who's a Nazi. Why can't I talk? I don't know why. I have this coffee here because it soothes my aching throat. All right, listen, guys. Check out APS Radio News. Yes, Parody on the chat. What do you want me to say about slavery 2024? All right. We will win. That's right. Booty. She won't listen. Thank you so much, guys. Nice to see you, everyone. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for sharing the show with your friends. And thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, for keeping the show going and growing, and your generous support to the show and to the community, cats. It makes a difference. It means a lot. Check out APS Radio News for some other independent media voices, including myself and others. And thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Thank you, Elise, for your super chat. Thank you, Ed the Second, for the cold kitties. Thank you so much for all of your support, your emotional support. And remember, we will win. We will. Why? Why, you say, Tara? Why? We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. I'll get it out, I swear. It'll come out. We stick together, we win. My name is Tara Develin, and I will see you on Friday night.